October the 14th. Rare limes, elms, ashes, poplars and birches. All over London, towering common limes, Tilia times Europea, are starting to turn a pale yellow. These trees are hybrids between our native large-leaved lime, with its almost circular leaves, and the small-leaved lime with its smaller heart-shaped leaves and rust-coloured hairs along the veins on its undersides. It would be hard to think of any tree more unsuitable for the urban environment than these limes. They grow too quickly, too tall, too wide, sucker easily, lift pavements, and attract hordes of greenfly, which then drop their sticky honeydew on everything underneath. Yet they do form impressive avenues at Hampton Court. Its omnipresence has been blamed on the Dutch nursery trade, as they were so easy and quick to grow. As a group, limes are notoriously difficult to identify because their characters get mixed so much when they hybridize, which they do both easily and often. However, at this time of year, it is a little easier to separate them. Mongolian limes, Tilia mongolica, in Canizaro Park, turn a bright yellow. American limes, Tilia americana, in Hyde Park, now has huge, coarsely toothed leaves, and Tilia henriana, Hyde Park, has leaves with teeth that look like green eyebrows. Other limes, such as the silver limes, have leaves with distinctly paler undersides. The most common of these is the silver lime, Tilia tomentosa itself. If the leaves are set on long petioles, it may well be one of the most attractive of all limes, the silver pendant lime, Tilia times petiolaris, which has a graceful sweeping habit. The Caucasian or Crimean lime, Tilia times euchlora, has similar leaves, but their upper sides are shinier and darker. All three of these trees have flowers that can have a narcotic effect on bees, which are occasionally found stupefied on the ground beneath them. They can all be seen in Hyde Park. Elms are now developing their soft yellows. It was hard to beat our own native English elm, Ulmus procera, with its thundercloud-shaped silhouettes, so familiar along the boundaries of fields, till they were all swept away by Dutch elm disease in the mid-1970s. Since then, various other rarer elms, many of which don't look like elms at all, have been planted in their place. Certainly the Asiatic elms, that is the Japanese elm, Ulmus japonica, and the Chinese elm, Ulmus parviflora, have the advantage of being totally disease-free. Huntingdon elms, being partially disease-free, are also popular replacements. These trees, which look very like wild elms, are from the Huntingdon area and have a little more to offer. Ulmus hollandica dampieri aurea, which is in South Park Gardens, Wimbledon, turns a beautiful golden colour, and the Chichester elm, Ulmus hollandica virgata, in Battersea Park, produces one of the best of all avenues with a perfect lancet arch forming naturally between the trees. Then there are the Siberian elms, which, if the one in Battersea Park beside the entrance to the meadow is anything to go by, are the most elegant of all. This particular specimen has been identified as Ulmus pinnato ramosa and is taller than you might expect and has unusually long-hanging branches. A surprisingly good selection of rare ashes have also found their way into London's parks. Kensington Gardens is probably the most rewarding place to look, as the white ash, Fraxinus americana, narrow-leaved ash, Fraxinus angustifolia velthemii, as well as the red ash, Fraxinus pennsylvanica, can all be found there. The leaves of the white ash are reluctant to colour in London, but if they do, they turn a creamy purple. The narrow-leaved ash is instantly recognisable with its single rather than pinnate leaf, and the red ash has leaves which are shiny on the top and pale beneath. At this time of year, it also briefly turns a golden colour. There is also a variegated form in Kensington Gardens, which has creamy, silver, green and grey leaves. In Zion Park, the Afghan ash, Fraxinus xanthoxyloides, can be found with its winged leaf stalks, and in Hyde Park, the Arizona ash, Fraxinus velutina, with its velvety grey leaves. In Regent's Park, both the Oregon ash, Fraxinus latifolia, and the Caucasian ash, Fraxinus angustifolia subspecies oxycarpa, can be seen. First of these, The first of these has large leaves which are only hairy underneath, and the second has slimmer, finer leaflets, similar to its red form, the claret ash, Fraxinus angustifolia raywood. Lastly, there are also a number of impressive weeping ashes, Fraxinus angustifolia pendula in our parks, for example, Kennington Park, mainly because there was a fashion for planting them when the parks were first created in the mid-19th century. Some have astonishingly high grafts, as high as 4 meters from the ground. Poplars, like limes, are also promiscuous, which often makes their identification difficult. The tall, statuesque Lombardy poplars, Populus nigra italica, seem easy enough to recognize, but there are others with upright branches. The closely related Populus nigra plantiriensis in Broccoli Park can sometimes be recognized by its bushier head. Also, there are white poplars with an upright habit. For example, Populus alba racket in Ravener Park, Greenford, which is very narrow, especially when young, and Populus angustifolia, Populus alba pyramidalis in Sydenham Wells Park, which is similar to a Lombardy poplar but broader. Poplars which colour well, which is usually a rich butter yellow, include the western balsam poplar, Populus trichocarpa, the golden poplar, Populus serotina aurea, and the weeping aspen, Populus tremula pendula. Other rare poplars which might be recognised are the Chinese necklace poplar, Populus lesiocarpa in Battersea Park with its red-veined leaves, Populus unaniensis in Kensington Gardens with its reddish petioles and midribs, and Populus simonii in Acton Park with its roundish leaves tapered at the base like goat willow. At least one poplar is instantly recognisable, and this is the variegated form of the Ontario poplar, Poplar times canadensis aurora in Myersfield Park. If pruned correctly, its leaves are a dramatic mix of cream, green, and pink. London in recent years now seems to be full of birches with white boles. These are mainly cashmere birches, Betula giacomontii, and selections of the Himalayan birch, Betula utilis. However, some rarer birches now attract attention as their leaves become a bright clear yellow. For example, Erman's birch, Betulus ermanii in Hampton Court, the yellow birch, Betula alleganiensis in Cannizzaro Park, and the birch which has the largest leaves, the Monarch birch, Betula maximo wisiana in Greenwich Park. Other rare birches worth seeking out are the black birch, Betulus nigra, Cranmer Road, Forest Gate, with its diamond-shaped leaves, and the Chinese red bark birch, Betula albocinensis in Cannizzaro Park, with its peeling amber-coloured bark. The most unusual of all is the cherry birch, Betula lenta, in Richmond Park, with its strange scent of oil of wintergreen. And arguably the most beautiful is the Youngii form of our own wild native birch, Betula pendula. Its branches can weep to the ground, creating curtains of leaves that gently sway in the breeze. They look even more graceful in old age, such as the veteran in St. Michael's Road, Stockwell.